Greetings, everybody. Maximus here, and boy, do we have a big show for you today. But first, the question of the day. I don't know why I thought about this, but I want to know something. Where are you watching from right now? No, I don't mean the country or the city or the region. I mean, where are you right now? Are you on a beach? Are you in your office? Maybe on a plane? Maybe in your office on the plane, if you know what I mean. Hell, maybe you're in the day room using the prison internet. I don't know. But I won't know until you let me know down below. Okay, so we start the Huge Aviation News Show where we usually start the Huge Aviation News Show, and that's with Boeing. Because in the final week before the United States elects a new president, Boeing seems to be tying up loose ends and rather quickly. Because suddenly it seems there are signs that the Boeing Machinist Union strike may finally be over. And before Election Day, late Thursday afternoon, coincidentally Halloween, Boeing offered the union a pretty sweet treat and hopes not to be tricked in return. The union announced a proposal Thursday afternoon, 31 October, and strongly recommended that their 33,000 striking machinist union members take the deal. Boeing's offer includes a 38% general wage increase over the next 4 years, which compounds to roughly 43% over the life of the agreement. The union members' wages would increase 13% in the first year, then 9%, 9%, and 7% in subsequent years. In a press release, the union's response was very positive, saying it's time for our members to lock in these gains and confidently declare victory. We believe asking members to stay on strike longer wouldn't be the right move, as we have achieved so much success. A simple minority will determine if the contract is accepted, bringing the machinists back to work, or rejected, meaning they will stay on strike. The union said that in every negotiation and strike, there is a point where we have extracted everything that we can in bargaining and by withholding our labor, and that we are at that point right now and risk a regressive or lesser offer in the future. The latest proposal also includes a $12,000 ratification bonus. That $12,000 is a combination of the $7,000 ratification bonus and a $5,000 lump sum contribution to the 401k plan that Boeing had offered in its prior contract proposal. However, this time, members can choose how to split the $12,000 between their paycheck and their 401k plan. The proposal retains many of the provisions from the earlier contract offers, including a minimum 4% annual bonus and a 100% company 401k match up to 8%. It also increases the amount of money that workers with a pension will receive per year. However, it does not restore the pension plan, something that many union members have said in recent weeks is a top priority. But if union members approve the deal and the strike ends, machinists must return to the factory by November 12th. According to the strike settlement agreement posted on the union's website, the agreement also stated that employees will be returned to the same job they had prior to the strike. The vote is coincidentally scheduled for Monday, November 4th, the day before the U.S. presidential election. Why that date? I don't know, but it is interesting. Well, continuing with more blockbuster Boeing news, this week Bloomberg revealed that Boeing has finally decided to scrap its very controversial Global Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department, or DEI. That, according to leaks out of Boeing. The report said the staff from Boeing's DEI office would be combined with another human resources team focused on talent and employee experience. Sarah Liang Bowen, who was a vice president in the department, announced earlier in the day on LinkedIn that she had left the company, writing that it had been the privilege of her lifetime to lead equity, diversity, and inclusion at the Boeing company for the past 5 years. She said that her team strived every day to support evolving brilliance and creativity in the workforce. However, just a week ago, Boeing strongly denied rumors and emphatically stated that they were not bailing on the DEI mandate. However, also this week, Boeing went begging for cash by selling stock. And I think the future stockholders wanted to make sure that Boeing would be growing their investment and probably would prefer Boeing base their future hiring practices on experience and merit and not other parameters. And speaking of stock, this week Boeing sold $24.3 billion worth as it looks to strengthen its finances due to being pressured from more than a 6-week-long strike as well as the recent layoffs of 17,000 jobs, representing 10% of its global workforce. So good luck to Boeing. Well, in rare Airbus news, which unlike Boeing always seems to be good news, Spain's Iberia Airlines has taken delivery of the first Airbus A321-XLR, the longest-range variant of the A321neo family. The Spanish airline is set to become the first operator of the XLR. Iberia's reservations itinerary indicates that it will be putting the twin jet into service on the Madrid to Boston route on 14 November. Marco Sansevini, Iberia's CEO, said that the A321-XLR will allow us to reach new destinations, operating transoceanic routes, and doing so in a more efficient way. Powered by the CFM International LEAP 1A engines, the aircraft is scheduled to depart from Hamburg to Madrid on 30 October. The jet is configured with 182 seats in a two-class layout. Airbus says Iberia will use it on European familiarization flights before sending it across the Atlantic for the first time. Well, in this day and age, air rage and passenger fisticuffs have, become rather routine. But when the flight crew starts to go at each other, then you got a bigger problem. But that's exactly what happened last month when a Sri Lankan Airlines flight from Sydney, Australia to Colombo, Sri Lanka, when the first officer, a female, decided to use the lavatory, of course leaving the captain, a male, alone on the flight deck. So why all the male-female descriptions by me? Well, because apparently the male captain felt a little cockpit blocked, so to speak. Because after she finished her connecting flight on Wizz Air, when she returned to the flight deck, she found that the captain had locked her out. Yeah, locked her out of the cockpit. Well, Maximus, you may ask, why would a captain do such a thing? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because as it turns out, the cranky Captain Mansplainer was so enraged that his female sky partner had not arranged for someone to relieve her in the cockpit while she was relieving herself out of the cockpit. Well, this angered him so much that he locked her out. According to the New York Post, his self-imposed solitary confinement caused a tense standoff. They likened it to a reverse hostage situation. However, the coup was finally resolved after other senior crew members persuaded the whizzed-off captain over the intercom to let his co-pilot back in the cockpit. And it was at that point that a skinny pirate with bad teeth stood up and told everybody, "I'm the captain now." Oh wait, that was the movie Captain Phillips. Anyway, the plane carrying 297 passengers landed safely at its destination without further incident. The pilot has since been grounded, as Sri Lankan Airlines says it is investigating the matter with Sri Lankan Civil Aviation Authority, the CAA. And the captain has been grounded pending the outcome of the investigation. Well, at least he got off lighter than the pirate in Captain Phillips. And speaking of being iced out, a New Jersey woman is suing JetBlue Airlines for allegedly serving her a frozen ice cream sandwich. How frozen? Well, I'm glad you asked. It was so frozen that it caused her to fracture one of her front teeth. Cara Quinones claimed the flight crew allegedly gave her a Nightingale brand strawberry shortcake ice cream sandwich during an August 20 flight from New York's JFK Airport to Charles de Gaulle in France. The lawsuit claims that the ice cream sandwich was at a temperature below what is reasonable or safe for consumption. And furthermore, Quinones was not properly warned beforehand of the dangerously cold temperature and solid state of the ice cream sandwich. Solid state? Back in the day, solid state was a good thing. Am I right, boomers? Let me know down below. But according to the lawsuit, Quinones sustained, quote, severe and permanent bodily injuries from biting into the frozen solid ice cream sandwich, adding that she continues to incur expenses for ongoing treatment. And for those of you who may find this funny, well, don't, because she's serious, because her lawyer is demanding a jury trial to determine how much JetBlue should pay for the alleged damages. But Quinones allegedly suffered a fractured number 10 tooth of the left lateral incisor, which is next to the left front tooth. According to the lawsuit, she needed emergency medical treatment upon landing in Paris. She claimed her injury required her to get the tooth extracted, after which she received an implant and other additional treatments. So be sure to stay tuned to that story because, I'm probably never going to follow that one again. Well, if that story was too cold for you, our last story, as it turns out, was too hot to handle for passengers recently on board a Qantas flight. Qantas has formally apologized to passengers on a flight from Sydney to Japan after a sexually explicit film was played for the entire plane. Oh my. This, according to The Guardian, so you know it's got to be true, passengers on the flight to Haneda were shown the start of Daddy-O, a 2023 film starring Dakota Johnson. The film is rated R in the U.S. for language, sexual material, and brief and, quote, graphic nudity. However, only rated mature 15 plus for strong coarse language and nudity in Australia. Well, how can it be that bad if a 15-year-old can watch it in Australia? However, according to Qantas, due to technical issues, individual movie selections were not available. So after a request from some passengers, I'm guessing the 15-year-old boys, the crew chose to play the film for the entire flight, which according to Google is a 10-hour flight. Anyway, upon the announcement, all the teenage boys raised their hands in unison, asking for blankets, allegedly. However, once passengers realized the content of the movie, crew members ended it and instead put on a children's film. Note to Qantas: next time I suggest you lead with a kiddie flick, and that it rhymes with kiddie flick. After the flight, some passengers shared the experience on social media. One described the movie as 40 minutes of wieners and boobs. Another said, "These poor kids and their parents, because you should have heard the audible gasps across the plane." Well, lady, I don't know about the parents, but I'm pretty sure the horny teenage boys were gasping for a different reason. Just saying. And as if that wasn't bad enough, the passengers said that all the screens were locked and the movies could not be turned off by the passengers, only by the crew. Well, I guess that explains Qantas' new slogan. Fly Qantas, where we turn you on so hard you won't be able to turn yourself off. Oh, and by the way, I hear if you're turned on for longer than 4 hours, you should call an ambulance. At least according to the commercials in the U.S. anyway. Oh, and for anybody in Australia or Japan who's looking for a good lawyer to sue Qantas, call the frozen ice cream sandwich broken-toothed JetBlue lady in New Jersey. I'm pretty sure she's got a lawyer she can recommend. And with that, that will bring an end to our Maximus Aviation Huge Aviation Report. And speaking of huge, I gotta check out that movie and see what all the fuss is about. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. And don't forget to do all that YouTube-y stuff. And as always, until next time, yeah, this is Maximus.